All right. Last but not least, Aaron Aldrich. Go, Aaron. So, before you go on, one question for you. If you had to go do battle, and your choice was 100 horse-sized ducks, or no, sorry, one horse-sized duck, 100 horse-sized ducks, 100 duck-sized horses? No, I'm getting this wrong. What is it?
I'm just going to fight one duck.
It's on Reddit. Look it up.
The duck will be duck-sized or horse-sized, but I'm going to fight one.
Done. All right.
All right. Resisting the urge to start before it's full screen. Okay. So, hey everyone, I'm Aaron Aldrich. My information is vaguely above me here. And I wanted to talk about storytelling. I think it's incredibly important because I think it's the way that we function as humans. Our brains tell stories. It's what we do. It's how we communicate information. It's how we retain information. Before we were writing stories, we were telling them. We were painting pictures about them because it was that important to who we were as a culture. We had to communicate these ideas as stories. A lot of this goes into how the cognitive biases come out in our lives as well. You saw this earlier in Adam's Ignite talk yesterday, but all these cognitive biases are brains trying to make sense out of raw data. We either have too much of it, too little of it, we need to figure out what of it we should remember, or we have a limited amount of time before we need to act. So we process information, we turn data into stories, and figure out how to retain what's important to us. And this is shown through a number of studies as well. They've actually gone in and did a study in the 40s, it'll show up in a minute, where they showed this video of abstract shapes moving around. And when they asked the students what they saw, almost everyone told a story about it. One shape was angry or mean or picking on another. Only one person described it very geometrically and boring. So, I mean, we can think about this in our everyday lives, right? These three answers communicate the same data to the other person, but different stories about why we're going to dinner. Is it something we do always and we're just confirming? Are we excited about seeing a friend we haven't seen in a long time? Are we not really happy about going? And this is true about our data as well. Raw data points doesn't really mean anything to me until I know why I'm looking at that. Are my systems trending down? Are my users affected? Is this just raw data points from a log I never actually need? All that's important to how we communicate that information. And it's important when we want to communicate our ideas to other people as well. If we just communicate facts and information, it gives points to argue with and points to debate and go on about. If you engage emotions, it gives something that sticks longer, and it gives something that people connect to. And it's not just about telling people good stories. It's about telling people honest stories. It's not just saying it's going to be good, but it might be hard. You know, once more under the breach, dear friends, once more, or close the wall up with our English dead. It's not that we're going to be successful. It's that it's so important that we're going to try as hard as we can or fail so spectacularly that we will be remembered, because it's that important to move forward with it. So that's the key to this, is telling truthful stories and telling stories that connect with our emotions. Whether they make us happy or grumpy, it's something that we retain longer if we're actually involved in the story rather than just hearing information thrown at us, or the classic info dump part of the novel where you start to tune out because they're just giving you data. That's what's boring. Anger is particularly powerful and dangerous. CGP Grey did a great video on YouTube. You can look it up. That's what it's called, about how ideas spread. And anger becomes particularly contagious. People love to share stuff that makes them angry with other people. And so all of this improves our retention of information, but it's useless if no one's listening to the stories as well. We can't all just be shouting into the dark our stories. We also need to take it on the other side and listen to what people are telling us. They've shown through more studies that people that read fiction and connect with the characters actually become more empathetic. They've done a study where they were responding to slightly vague expressions on people's faces, and when they read a sympathetic story, they responded more in kind. Fear was perceived more as fear than anger. See, what we're doing is we're connecting with the characters in these stories, and whether we agree with them, and it's something that makes us excited about it, or we're just, yeah, that's awesome, maybe there's someone different than us, and it challenges our worldview and helps us grow. We practice something called the theory of mind, which is not just that other people are there to move our stories along, but that we're also there as complex characters who have our own stories to tell and our own stories to share. The person that's mean to you isn't just the mean person in your office. The boss is not just your boss. They also have Families, motivations, things that make them excited to get up in the morning, reasons they don't want to get up in the morning. They have hopes and dreams and fears just as much as you do. So it's important then not just to share a story, but our honest stories. And this is where it gets hard. It's hard to be that honest with everyone else, to actually remove the mask of who we are at work and be the people we actually are and what motivates us. That's the challenge that I want to put forward to you. I think this is another great quote from a sci-fi author. When you really know somebody, you can't hate them. Or maybe it's just that you can't really know them until you stop hating them. Until we're willing to take the time to sit and listen to each other's stories, we can't really know who we are. So that's what I leave you with. Be excellent to each other, because it's not just something that's good to do, and it's not just going to be easy, but because it's hard, but it's that important that we must do it. Thank you.
Great job.